excited to welcome you to the 6th annual Progress Iowa Corn Feed. Now, you might notice we're doing things a little bit differently this year. We're live with a virtual event and broadcasting with a number of partners to reach as many people as possible. Now, the bad news is we're not all together, but the good news is we still have a great lineup of speakers and a fun program tonight. Now, tonight's event and none of our work would be possible without your donations and the support of our great financial sponsors: AFSCME Council 61, the Iowa State Education Association, Protect Our Care, People for the American Way, the United Auto Workers Iowa State CAP Council, Iowa Federation of Labor AFL-CIO, the New Frontier Action Fund, and the No Justice, No Peace PAC. I also want to recognize Progress Iowa's board members, Danny Homan, Melissa Peterson, and Mark Langen for all of their efforts and support, as well as our staff, Ivy Beckenholt, our Digital and Communications Director, Amy Adams, our organizer, who you just heard from a little bit earlier, and Mike Willoughby, our event producer tonight from our terrific partner at Battle-Born Progress. They are all doing a great job, and trust me when I tell you they have been spending hours and hours making this event a success. I also want to thank and give a shout out to my family, my wife Stephanie, and our sons Petey and Joey. You may, as we are living in 2020, you may occasionally hear them in the background. But I love them with all my heart, and just I want to thank them as well. This year we are also teaming up with Raygun, and we've created some great voter toolkits that you can get right now with a donation to Progress Iowa. So here's how it works. If you text Iowa to 66866, that's the number that you see on your screen. That's Iowa, IOWA, to 66866. You'll get the link for Progress Iowa's Action Center, including where you can buy a toolkit from Raygun, including some great postcards to help you contact voters, some fun stickers, a tote bag, and some special corn feed mix popcorn from Almost Famous Popcorn, an Iowa company. So I hope you take the time to sign up by texting IOWA to 66866. We need your support and you to sign up now more than ever. I mean, it has been such a challenging year for all of us, with President Trump, Governor Reynolds, and Senator Ernst having let us all down, from COVID to the derecho storm to constant attacks on our health care and police brutality and systemic racism that forces us to keep reminding them that, yes, Black lives do matter. Now, that's why it's so great to be with all of you tonight at the Corn Feed, so we can share our progressive values and help each other step up and take action. Now, in order to do that, you're going to be hearing from a great lineup of speakers tonight: Congresswoman Katie Porter, Joe and Jill Biden's daughter, Ashley Biden, People for the American Way President Ben Jealous, End Citizens United President Tiffany Muller, Let America Vote founder Jason Kander, members of Congress Cindy Axne, Abby Finkenauer, Dave Loebsack, Senate candidate Teresa Greenfield, and congressional candidates Rita Hart and J.D. Schulten. But to kick it all off, it's my pleasure to turn it over to someone who started his journey in Iowa right here at the Corn Feed 3 years ago, former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Hi everyone, it's Pete Buttigieg, and I'm sending warm greetings from just up the road in South Bend. I want to welcome everybody to the Progress Iowa Corn Feed of 2020. It's hard to believe that it was about 3 years ago when I first had the opportunity to speak at this event in person, and of course I wish we were coming together in person right now. But I'm also so glad that this group in particular of activists and grassroots leaders and local elected officials is already very comfortable with getting our progressive message out through digital means. We've been doing it for years, and I know you've been at the forefront of that in your communities. Obviously, that's become important in ways we never could have guessed just a year ago. And another thing that I think is brought to light by the moment we're in is, when I first had a chance to address you, I talked about how politics is personal, and it's personal for me because of how my life has gone. It's personal for you in a different way, and this pandemic is showing us just how urgently, searingly, bluntly personal everything about the elections at hand is for all of us. We are now confronting some of our biggest, toughest, long-standing challenges as a country, things that we've been concerned about for a long time: the disempowerment of workers, racial inequality, including the racial disparities in healthcare access, the destruction of our alliances and international cooperation, and the way that scientific fact is being treated like a matter of political choice. We've been pushing back on this for years, but now we've seen how these problems have taken on an even greater urgency. And one of the things we know is that a post-COVID world is not going to look like what we had before, nor should it. This is not as simple as going back to an old normal. Our recovery is going to have to include decisions that by their nature will shape American life for the rest of our lifetimes. And we're not just going to be reestablishing all of the old political and economic arrangements we knew before with the same winners and losers and the same weaknesses and injustices. We can't do that, and we shouldn't try. I'm convinced that the decision we're making right now, at the start of what's going to be America's deciding decade for this century, is going to shape everything for the rest of our lives. That's why I'm using all of my energy to support the historic Biden-Harris ticket and Democrats all up and down the ballot. And we're really excited about the race for Teresa Greenfield and all of your fantastic candidates in the state of Iowa, because I think this is a historic political realignment. At least it could be. I want to say also that, since that first event back in 2017, every time we've come to the state of Iowa, you have made me and Chasten feel so at home. And our hearts in particular are with those who've been impacted by the recent storms. And we're thinking about everybody that we met and got to know and spent time with across the state. I really wish we were there in person, but I know we will be before too long. And I know until then, you are going to do the work all the way through the election, an election like we've never seen in our lives. And if we get this right, on the other side of that, we will be able to look at this year that got off to such a terrible start and say that this was the year that America began to move in the right direction. So thanks for all that you're doing. Stay safe and stay motivated. And now I get to hand it over to some familiar faces to recite our Pledge of Allegiance.